What's going on, guys? We're back with a brand new video. In today's video, we'll be going over the possibility of Gary Ablett coming out of retirement through the mid-season draft, and if it actually is a possibility of happening. Before we do get in the video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe, because we're on the road to 600 subscribers and we're getting so close. So don't forget to follow all the socials linked in the description, and let's get straight into it. So in an interview with Herald Sun yesterday, Gary Ablett did say that he actually would have actually stayed at the Cats for one more year. So pretty sad for Geelong fans, but he never got told that they were actually going for the players of Isaac Smith, Sean Higgins and Jeremy Cameron, and if he knew that they were going after them, he would have actually stayed for one more year. I don't know if that's the same case for Harry Taylor, but then he floated the idea that if he did get a call from Geelong saying something about the mid-season draft, he would definitely come back. But then there's Mitch Cleary put out a thing that it's actually not possible and he's not actually eligible to go into the mid-season draft. Well, first of all, Geelong currently don't actually have a spot on their list that they could use for the rookie draft unless a long-term injury happens, which I don't think anyone on their team is actually on a long-term injury. And apparently he's not eligible because you have to be retired for at least 12 months. But then people are wondering, then why is Cade Simpson eligible to come back and play? Because apparently Cade Simpson was actually delisted, and if you're delisted, then you're eligible to come in for the rookie draft. But that doesn't make much sense, because I don't think anyone heard about anyone like Cade Simpson actually being delisted. So I don't get, like, couldn't they just say that Gary Ablett was delisted if they want to run it like that? Because I don't really get the difference between, delist and retired. I'm pretty sure it isn't just the same thing. Like because then Mitch Cleary went through in an article saying the players that actually can be actually like come back and actually play, and saying that players like Igmiliski Smith, they got delisted and then came through the draft and he could do that. But the players that actually could come back if they wanted to is Matthew Cruiser, Heath Shaw, Ben Stratton, Shane Savage and Lewis Jetta, who apparently, even though they all did retire, they are in the delisted category, along with the Cade Simpsons of the world, which is pretty cool. But the only teams that actually do have spots left for the mid-season draft is Gold Coast with 4, St Kilda with 4, Adelaide with 3, Collingwood with 2, Melbourne with 2, and North Melbourne with 2, which could be players that could put their hand up for some of these free agents that I just mentioned, like the Cruisers, Shaws, Strattons, Savages, and Lewis Jettas that they do need. Now, no one who out of them names just mentioned there, none of them have actually come up in actually wanting to return. The only one I could actually see out of that group is probably Heath Shaw and maybe Shane Savage. The others don't seem like they'll be players that probably could. Alex Rance is one that's got floated, but I don't really think that's possible. But Gary Ablett, on the other hand, he did say, along with Cade Simpson, that he does want to come back if it was possible, and if Geelong wanted him to come back. But by the looks of this, he's not eligible unless something else comes out. But Tom Brown did come out and say that he is eligible, and that the only reason that they can't pick him up is because they don't have any list spots. So this is only early on. The news only just broke this morning about this, and everyone kind of was in shambles of what's actually going on, because now all these players are retired, all want to come back if they have the possibility and if their team's actually contending. Some people did say that it's just a bit selfish by Gary Ablett, that they should let players like Jordan Clark, Sander Koning, Charlie Constable and all that playing. But come on, obviously Geelong aren't going for the young talent if they just bring in Isaac Smith and Sean Higgins. So let Gary Ablett have his last years. He's definitely probably would be one of their best players if he did come back, because he didn't look too out of touch, apart from that his shoulder has been popping out a lot in the last couple of years he was there. But apart from that, his soft tissue seemed pretty good. So I could see him making a return back to the AFL if it's actually possible, but we'll have to wait and see. And now this mid-season draft period is looking better and better every year now, because 2019 And there was no real things about that. There was only, I think there's only 4 players from that 2019 period that's still on lists, and John Noble, Will Snelling, Marlon Pickett, and Ryan Gardner. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But it keeps on happening. Who knows? We could see players like Nick Rewald and like Jared Ruffhead come back and play if teams are needed. But I'm loving this new period of the mid-season draft. We missed it last year, and now this is looking better and better. If there's some AFL greats start coming back. But that's the video, guys. Make sure to drop a like and a subscribe, and thanks for watching.